can be a real title contender, but also that he can get in the way of Max and Charles' rivalry, if given the right opportunity. Carlos Sainz was in second, and despite remaining fifth in the championship behind George Russell, whose streak of finishing in the top 5 at every race this season was maintained this weekend as he finished behind Leclerc, Carlos will also be motivated significantly by this podium, because he could enjoy the celebrations at the podium ceremony without the presence of so far dominant teammate Charles Leclerc. The Spaniard has had no luck whatsoever this year, having retired twice already and always looking 3 steps behind Leclerc. This weekend, however, luck would swing his way, and he has another podium to show for it. But it was clear from the dive bomb attempt near the end at the Nouvelle chicane that he wanted the victory. Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc followed, and both will be disappointed with their display on Sunday, as both were bested by their supposedly lesser teammates. But at least Max can take some consolation that he finished ahead of rival Charles Leclerc for the 4th weekend on the trot, and is now 9 points ahead of the Monegasque in the Drivers' Championship, who will be lamenting this lost victory at his home Grand Prix for quite some time. At least he managed to finish. Lando Norris was in 6th place, a satisfactory result from a solid weekend, meaning that he has extended his lead in the championship over teammate Daniel Ricciardo by 37 points. Ouch. Fernando Alonso finished where he started in P7, the Spaniard finally seeming to find the rhythm with this season, with 2 points finishes in a row, meaning that his tally is now up to 10 on the year, after a 4-race drought between Bahrain and last weekend in Spain. Lewis Hamilton finished in 8th, the Brit having tussled with Esteban Ocon throughout the race and making contact with the Frenchman into Saint-Devote. This P8 means that the Brit is still 6th in the championship, but with Lando Norris hot on his heels, only 2 points behind the 7-time world champion. Valtteri Bottas recovered masterfully from 12th in qualifying to 9th, the Finn completely carrying Alfa Romeo at this point to 5th in the Constructors, with 40 of their 41 points. Sebastian Vettel made it 2 points finishes on the year in his Aston Martin, a phenomenal feat considering the fact that he missed the first 2 rounds of the season with COVID. Pierre Gasly recovered from 17th to 11th thanks to a bold initial strategy, with Esteban Ocon behind his compatriot, having looked on for a points finish before he received a 5-second time penalty for that incident with Hamilton, which I mentioned earlier. Daniel Ricciardo once more disappointed in 13th, the Aussie with now only 11 points so far this season. It is safe to say that he needs to do something to silence his critics, otherwise his time at McLaren may well be over prematurely. The 2 Canadians of Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi followed, with Zhou Guanyu and Yuki Tsunoda the last of the finishers. Both Haas drivers retired, the team now pointless since the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, and if they want to challenge for 7th in the Constructors' Championship with AlphaTauri, then they really need to get their act together and take out some of the car-ruining crashes as well from Mick Schumacher. They seemed so promising at the start of the year, with Kevin Magnussen's 5th place at Bahrain, but this may have been a false promise of things to come, and Haas may find themselves embedded in the midfield, but not quite in the points for the rest of the season if they don't change something. My driver of the day has to be Sergio Perez. What a job from him. He started the weekend well, being at or near the front for all 3 practice sessions and making P3 in qualifying, an area that is not his strong suit. He then played the strategy with the tyres to perfection, undercutting Leclerc for the lead and cruising from there, as well as putting in a competent defensive display against Sainz, who was hungry for the victory. My team of the race is Red Bull, who came back from a second row lockout to 1 and 3, playing the strategy just right and taking their third double podium of the season. Finally, for my struggle of the race, and this goes to Charles Leclerc, who looked for the second weekend running to be cruising to victory, but fate would step in the way, and he was punted down the standings to 4th. After his costly second pit stop and the red flag restart, he seemed to be struggling to fire up his hard compound tyres, and this is just yet another weekend to forget for Charles. Thank you for listening to F1 Every Week. Congratulations to Sergio Perez on his third victory in the sport, and tune in next time for more F1 news.